What's good, guys? Prince Sports here, coming at you with another one. Now, let me tell you this. When it pertains to LeBron James and Kevin Durant, they're going to forever be connected to each other, okay? They have history on the biggest stage there is, the NBA Finals. Kevin Durant beating LeBron twice, LeBron beating him once. They're forever going to have that connection that's going to be in NBA history. But one thing they have in connection this season is their legacies both took a hit this season. Okay, I don't care what you say. The Brooklyn Nets was presumed as a team to go to the NBA Finals. They were title contenders, title favorites. The Los Angeles Lakers, a team the media hyped up, said was going to win 70 games. There's no team that could beat this team in 4 games. They were supposed to go to the NBA Finals to represent the NBA Finals on the Western Conference. East-West. We're supposed to be looking at the Brooklyn Nets, LeBron James versus Kevin Durant in the NBA Finals. Instead, we got both of these guys underachieving and losing in embarrassing ways. Kevin Durant getting swept. Okay, now getting swept is one thing. We've seen LeBron get swept. We've seen Jordan get swept. We've seen some of the greatest players to ever play basketball get swept. But it's not about just getting swept. It's how you got swept. It's not about you as a superstar. It's how you perform as a superstar, why you was getting swept, okay? He came up short in numerous ways, and never have we ever seen a title contender get swept in the first round. You know, never have we seen a title contender with future Hall of Famers and other All-Stars on the team, even if it's just one or other guy is injured, not make the play-in, let alone the postseason. So that was an epic fail for LeBron James, epic fail for Kevin Durant. They both had 2 of the most worst seasons that you could possibly imagine, okay, while they were title contenders. LeBron James is on the 3rd phase of his career, which is called the closeout phase for me. That's what I call it. And Kevin Durant is still in his prime. So, question comes, who took the biggest hit? You know, whose legacy took the biggest hit, man? Check out Isaiah Thomas saying this.
When you see the Nets end the way they ended, I can't think of a time in the history of our league where we see LeBron James and Kevin Durant have 2 disappointing seasons like this. I mean, when you talk about, 2 of the best players in the league, and one don't make the playoffs, and the other gets swept, the narrative, that we've been pushing for so long, we have to rethink what we've been saying, this year and look at, okay, what's really going on here?
Or are we expecting too much from part-time teammates?
Well, these 2, again, they're arguably, the top 3-4 players in the league, and both of them are out. One don't make the playoffs, and the other gets swept in the first round.
39.
That's unheard of.
7.
I was going to say after this playoff season, definitely we're going to have to do some rethinking of who the top players are, because we've had LeBron James and Kevin Durant like in the top, and one got swept and one didn't even make the play-in. So, we're going to have to do some rethinking about who's the top.
Now, in the case of LeBron James, this guy has had records broken this season due to longevity because he was playing a long time. But never have we seen a so-called top 5 player have very little impact on his team winning games, okay? LeBron James had almost 0 impact on helping the Lakers win games. And if he's producing the numbers that he's producing with 0 impact, not only are those empty stats, you could tell by his actions and the way that he was performing this season that he spent this whole entire season stat padding. I mean, you could call it whatever you want. It is what it is. Kevin Durant, a guy that led his team to the postseason, but barely got in there. They had to do the play-in tournament just to get in there. Now, if they went past the first round, you could at least have the narrative to say, hey, they were hurt in the regular season. But now they're together. Kyrie has fresh legs and they're good to go. But they didn't even get to do that. They got swept. Since when do you see a title contender getting swept? Usually all title contenders make it to the conference finals, this, that, and the third, and they're competing. Whether they win, lose, or draw, they're still competing. Okay? Kevin Durant got exposed, not just by level of play on the court, but the thing that he was known for, which was closing games. He didn't even get to do that. Okay, one of the best scorers, two of the guys that you call the best duo, scoring duo in NBA history, got locked down. Okay, that's extremely embarrassing for both of those guys, because you don't look at a guy that's presumed as the top player in the league, along with LeBron James. Even when Giannis Antetokounmpo won, you never said Giannis was the best player in basketball. You're saying it now. But prior to this, when we was watching the regular season, people still said LeBron James was the best player in the NBA. People still say Kevin Durant was the best player in the NBA. He's just hurt. He had all these excuses, and you still swept Giannis under the rug and didn't give him credit. Now it's an overwhelming fact that Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best player in basketball. So the question comes, whose legacy took a bigger hit this year? It is splitting hairs between these two guys. With LeBron James, he made you rethink his position on the top all-time players list. Okay? A lot of people is like, hold up, I don't think he's better than Kobe. I don't think he's better than Tim Duncan. That happened. That happened this season. All right? And there's nothing I could do or say to, oh, you're pushing this agenda. I ain't pushing nothing. These are what the people are saying. Okay? These are what a lot of people think. And I know there's a lot of LeBron homers that will come out to his defense all day, every day. But the fact of the matter is, this happened. This took place. Okay? He stat padded for the whole season on the championship contending team on his, 19th season? When you're supposed to be competing for titles. And the same guy that sit there and said, I'm going to make the postseason every single year now. Okay? So you realize, hey, winning comes first. I shouldn't have been stat padding, but now it's too late. Kevin Durant, a guy that disappeared on the biggest stage there is, which is the postseason, got exposed. It'd be a different story if this guy was dropping 40, 50 points a game and his teammates didn't came along. You could use a narrative that, hey, his teammates just didn't show up, but he did. But this is not the case. A lot of these games were close. You had these games won. You didn't show up. You disappeared as a superstar, and you wasn't there for your team when they needed you most. That's more worse than anything as a superstar. So if I sit there and say who took the biggest hit, being the fact that LeBron was breaking records, and a lot of his cronies and fanboys are just, oh, look at the stats, even though they had zero impact on winning. I would have to say that the guy that took the biggest hit, legacy-wise, is probably going to be, maybe Kevin Durant. Just for the simple fact, I can't even really say that because LeBron's supposed to be in the postseason. So I would have to say, you know what? Just thinking about this, I would have to say it's 50-50 even. I can't really come to a conclusion of whose legacy been hit the most. You know, but what do you think, man? If you put my back up against the wall, fuck it. You put my back up against the wall, you tell me I had to pick whose legacy took a worse hit. I would have to say probably it got to be LeBron in a certain aspect because he had people rethinking his position on the all-time great list. Kevin Durant didn't move up or didn't move down from this season. He kind of stayed stuck where he at. But he did get hit with the Steph Curry narrative. You can't win without a super team. You can't win without Steph Curry. So that's a big hit on his legacy as well. But what do you guys think, man? Prince Sports out. Peace.